Javier Basurto. We are here at Pecs in Oaxaca, Mexico, and you are an associate professor at Duke University. You gave a talk this morning on the possibility of scaling up local knowledge. You do a lot of work with small-scale fisheries. Could you talk about one of your cases and how this case could inform a global challenge?
Sure. So the talk was a little bit of a reflection on this idea of scaling up. And in fisheries, a very common desire as a way to improve fisheries management is to give fishers property rights over their fishing areas or their fishing territories. And so one of the cases I've been working with since my master's, actually, the Seri community or the Comcac. It's a very interesting case because they're one of the smallest indigenous groups in Mexico. Then in the 70s, the National Indigenous Institute decided to give to them and to other small indigenous groups land as a way to prevent their disappearance through competition with other non-indigenous groups. And so the Seri got property rights back in the 70s, not only on land, but also on the water, because they've been fishers forever, more than 3,000 years. And so they've had a marine concession, or a TURF, which is the acronym for Territorial Use of Rights in Fisheries, much earlier than when they actually became something interesting that people advocated as a solution for overfishing. So I've been looking at how they use their TURF or their fishing concession. And what has been interesting to see is that for more than 10 years, they never used it until the ecological conditions changed, and it was in their benefit to start invoking this property right. So in terms of informing this global challenge is a solution that has a lot of push from policymakers is give fishermen's property rights because this is going to improve fisheries management. But there's not a lot of reflection on whether people are going to find it in their interest to use these territorial concessions. It's just assumed that people are going to use them. And here we have a case where for more than 10 years, it was not in their benefit, not in their advantage to actually use it. And so the story is much larger, but this case gives an opportunity to reflect of, well, not because we give property rights or territorial rights to a user group or to people are going to find ways to benefit from it.
Great, thank you. The work you have done in collaboration with fishermen has been to foster local fisheries sustainability, and this has been extremely successful. Yet, as you pointed out in your talk, there is aspiration to scale up this in ways that contribute to global sustainability. Can you share your views on these success stories and major challenges for doing this type of work?
This is interesting because there has been, I think kind of academia goes through different phases, and this or groups that are interested in sustainability tend to be very interested in successful stories. But as actually in one of the panels yesterday, somebody was commenting how difficult it is now to publish unsuccessful cases. And understanding what works and what doesn't work requires understanding successful and unsuccessful cases. And so I think if we only focus on one, on the other, we are at risk of actually building good scholarship and practice. So that's my first reaction to kind of using the word success. The other way it kind of informs sustainability is the lack of questioning whose success and what success means to the fishers themselves. So it's very easy for us to start defining for others what success is. So I think that work also informs and cautions the potential traps, to use this language, of forgetting to ask what success means on the ground and under what conditions. Yeah, hopefully that helps. Mm-hmm.
You filmed or produced a documentary.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So You produced a documentary. Could you tell us a bit about it, and what is the importance of finding alternative ways to communicate different sustainability issues?
So it was. I co-directed it with a former student of mine. That I teach a class in the field every year. We go to Mexico and to the Gulf of California, and we visit fishing communities. And the class project for that year was to do a film clip. And the student she just went through the communities we visited, asking what it meant for them to belong to their community. And the result was really beautiful. And we got a little bit of money to basically do a larger version of that. And then the project evolved because we started thinking, well, how can we... A lot of the discourse we hear, particularly in urban areas in the United States, by people that are not in contact with ocean issues, is that the ocean is in trouble and the fishers are the culprits. So we started to think, well, how can we humanize fishers for a mass audience? Because I've been interested I was interested in art and filmmaking, particularly from a methodological perspective, how you can observe as an outsider and what you choose to represent. And so I was interested in it from that point of view, but then I started getting interested in how can we communicate with a non-specialist audience. So we ended deciding, we ended going to a community where I've been working for some time, and using a method that is used in anthropology is called grounded theory, where you just go there and you allow the issues to emerge, the issues that are important for the people that live there to emerge, as opposed to you deciding what the issues are from the get-go. It was a great way to find out what the issue that was interesting to film was. It was really difficult because we ended filming tons of stuff. And as any editor will know, that can be a nightmare. But anyway, ended being a really good exercise in how can we tell story that people that are not connected with the ocean can connect with. So we ended telling a story about a family of fishers that need money to buy new shoes to their kid before he goes to a boarding school at the beginning of the semester. So for me, it was a great way to start understanding how I communicate my science, how I develop a different language to communicate with different audiences. I like visual anthropology, so photography, so that never hurts.
You were born in Mexico. Would you mind telling us what your favorite Mexican food is?
That's an easy one.
Okay.
It's very simple. It's quesadillas, which is just cheese in a tortilla. But getting good tortillas elsewhere in the world is really hard, as any Mexican knows. So there are the simple, there's so much good food in Mexico now that I think about it. So that's, If I spend more time thinking about it, I might change my mind. But quesadillas is imprinted in my childhood as kind of the thing to go every day. Yeah, so I'll stay with quesadillas. Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah.